everybody, and welcome to another Blender tutorial. Today we're gonna do something funny. I'm gonna show you how to create a 3D pixel art character or object, So let's start. What we have to add is an image reference. So you go to add image reference. And I have this little Mario Bros here. Okay, so expand the transform tool and make the rotation 0, 0, 0. Switch to the Z axis. Okay, so we're lucky actually here because we can count the tiles, the white and the colored tiles, so we can draw our pixel art really easily. So let's do this. Let's move this image reference here just because we're gonna add a plane now. If you hit S on your keyboard, you can shrink, you can scale, actually S stands for scale, your 3D object, in this case, the plane. So let's make it close to the size of our image, just as a reference, okay? It doesn't have to be exactly like that. So let's count the squares that we have, in this image, because it will be our grid to actually design and color the sprite that we're gonna make. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. So what we have to do is to switch to edit mode with our plane selected, okay? Face selection, right click on the plane and hit subdivide. Expand this little panel and just type 22 and hit enter. We now have a grid really similar to this one, okay? And it's all selected. So let's switch to the shading tab here and add a new material. I have on my desktop something like this main palette PNG, okay? It's something that looks like this. Okay, so it's just a palette of color that I downloaded on Google. You can do whatever you want, You can search on Google Images for color palette and download something like this, okay? So this is my reference for the material and to color each square I need. So all we have to do is drag this color and connect color to the base color of our material here, okay? As you can see, it looks like that. It seems that it worked. Okay, so let's switch to UV editing now, and this is the panel where we're gonna do all the job to create our pixel art avatar here, the character. Let's switch again to the Z axis. So it's like if we have a piece of paper here where we have to color all the squares that we need to create our character here. So head over the mouse here, hit A to select all the faces and vertices, and then click S on your keyboard to scale and 0 until you get this little dot. Use the move tool. As you can see, if I move it wherever, like this color, and I switch to this viewport shading, we can see that everything became green or this blue, okay, or everything black, whatever. Okay, so using this principle, we're gonna make everything white, and in this tab here, in this panel, we're gonna use the select box to select actually all the squares that we need to color. So let's count. Let's start from here, for instance. Okay, it should be here. So 1, 2, 3, 6 squares here. 1, 2, 3, and other 3. Okay, so let's drag this dot on a pink color like this, which is our hand here, the right hand, okay? If you want to see it clearly, you can switch once in a while into the sculpting tab, okay? And still shading viewport, okay? So you can see actually no squares, no grid, and you can see how your character will look in the end of our job. Let's go back to UV editing. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares here. Okay, 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other 4 here, but actually another one here. and 3 here. So skip one square, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Skip another square, 1, 2, 1, this. So we have, okay. Now we're gonna color these selected squares with a red one. Let's find this one. Okay, let's see, sculpting. Not bad, actually. Okay, so let's go on. We're here. Okay, so we've made this one. Now let's still keep the red color. So 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2. This one. Then we have 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have a few squares here. Not this one. Of course, you have to hold Shift if you want to do a multiple selection, you know, like any other actually editing image software or 3D software. Okay, so I've speeded up. Okay, so we have our character here. Let's see how it looks like. It looks pretty close to this one. Okay, so here comes the other part. We can use the select circle to multiple select more actually squares here, because we have to remove all the white squares around our character here. We have to cut them away. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, you have to press X on your keyboard and use the faces. X stands for delete in Blender. So you click faces and they go away. Again, select all the white squares, the squares we don't need. You can switch between the select box and the select circle tools, okay, in case you have to actually be more precise on selecting and deleting the squares. We're almost done here. All right, X again, faces. We have our Super Mario character here. Last thing to do, we can go to, well, we can stay here, doesn't matter. So let's switch into object mode. We can actually select our image reference, hit X again on our keyboard and delete it, because all we need is this little Mario character. Let's switch back into edit mode with our plane selected. A to select everything, switch to the X axis and use the extrude manifold tool. So we extrude it a little bit, whatever we want, like this. And here we go. Let's switch into object mode, sculpting for instance. Okay, as you can see, even if we switch to the default layout tab, we have our 3D character ready to be exported into the file format of your preferences. Usually if you work with Unity, but even with Unreal Engine or other game engine software, for instance, you can export it into the FBX format, okay? But whatever, even object, whatever you want. All right, here we go. Ta-da-da-da-da-da-dum. All right, thanks for watching and see you on the next tutorial.